Chosen ones, have you felt it? That sudden stillness in your soul, the quieting of cravings that once screamed for your attention, the fading of desires that used to flood your mind, the fire that once burned hot, now barely a spark. You're not broken. You're not losing your mind. You're being called higher. This is not random. This is not a malfunction. This is divine intervention. God is realigning you, pulling you out of what once enslaved you and into what will now elevate you. When you're being prepared for purpose, not everything can come with you. Some things must die so that something greater can live. If this message spoke to your soul, follow the channel and leave a like. It helps more chosen ones find this light. As it is written, those who live according to the flesh set their minds on the things of the flesh, but those who live according to the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. Romans 8:5. Your sex drive isn't disappearing, it's being recalibrated. Not for shame, not for guilt, but for glory. God is stripping away what's temporary to awaken what's eternal. The hunger of the flesh is being replaced with a hunger for righteousness, purpose, and divine love. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Matthew 5:6. This isn't willpower denial, it's spirit-led transformation. A sacred reordering of desires. You're being invited into your higher assignment. And don't go anywhere. Stay with me until the very end. We'll close with a powerful prayer to seal this message over your life. Now that you understand the divine purpose behind your fading desires, let's go deeper. Because what you're experiencing isn't just about desire, it's about destiny. It's not just a personal shift, it's a spiritual recalibration. When God begins awakening your spirit, one of the first things he does is reallocate your energy. Chosen one, your sexual energy is sacred. It's not just about physical connection, it's life force, the creative current that flows from the breath of God himself. This is the same energy that sparks ideas, births visions, sustains spiritual fire, and builds legacies. But when your soul is called higher, that energy must be redirected. This isn't punishment, it's precision. God doesn't waste power, and he's certainly not going to let yours be scattered in places that won't serve your calling. That same energy that once chased pleasure is now being gathered, repurposed, and concentrated into your spirit. Why? Because now it's needed for something greater. You're not just being refined, you're being prepared for purpose. You're not being asked to abstain, you're being prepared. Prepared to create, to write, to build, to speak, to lead, to heal. Your energy is no longer being drained by distractions. It's being harnessed for divine innovation. Think of Moses, who spent 40 years in the wilderness, not as punishment but as preparation. His strength had to be sharpened. His fire had to be focused. He had to unlearn Egypt before he could lead Israel. Just like Moses, you're being sanctified in silence so that your voice will carry weight when it's time to speak. This conservation of energy is God's way of making room for vision, for wisdom, for revelation. You're being taught how to carry fire without letting it consume you, because what's ahead will require clarity, discipline, and an unwavering spirit. 2. Spiritual protection. What many overlook is that physical intimacy is never just physical, it's spiritual, it's covenantal, it's exchange. Every soul you connect with leaves fingerprints on your spirit, and not all of them are clean. When you lie with someone, you also lie with their pain, their fears, their traumas, their demons. You may not see it with your eyes, but your spirit feels it, days, weeks, even years later. That confusion you couldn't shake. That heaviness that came out of nowhere, that sudden loss of peace, often it's not just you. It's what you picked up from someone you were never meant to carry. God sees what you can't, and in his mercy, he begins to shut doors you didn't even know were dangerous. He removes your desire not to punish your humanity, but to protect your divinity. He silences your cravings, not because love is bad, but because bondage is. And sometimes, the very thing you think you're being denied is the thing God is using to deliver you. As 2 Timothy 2:21 teaches, when we cleanse ourselves from what is dishonorable, we become vessels God can truly use. You are that vessel. And right now, God is purging you, not to empty you, but to fill you anew. He is setting boundaries, not to cage you in, but to preserve your fire, so that when the time comes, your flame doesn't flicker, it roars. 3. Spiritual detox. Once God shields you from hidden dangers, He begins to cleanse what feeds your soul, because protection without purification is incomplete. This is a season of detox, a time of being delivered from addiction and distraction. Let's speak plainly. We are living in a world drenched in distortion. Everywhere you look, on your screens, your feeds, your timelines, there are images and influences designed to drain your power, distort your purity, and dull your discernment. But God is pulling you out of that fog. He's reawakening your spiritual senses. He's calling you back to your original design, to live, create, and love from the fullness of your spirit, not the emptiness of your flesh. Everywhere you look, on screens, in music, in quiet moments, you're surrounded by messages meant to keep you bound to the flesh. This isn't noise, it's spiritual warfare. The world profits from your cravings, glorifies lust, and mocks purity. But God, in His mercy, is breaking the cycle, not with shame, but with truth. When your desires begin to fade, the detox begins. It's not just from lust, but from confusion, comparison, fatigue, and regret. God is renewing your mind, rewiring your spirit, and clearing the static that once kept you from your calling. The clarity you feel is your soul remembering its original frequency. This is not punishment, it's deliverance. Your flesh must die for your spirit to rise. God is freeing you from the impulses that once ruled your life. The old version of you, driven by craving instead of calling, is being laid to rest. And in its place, a new creation is awakening, walking in truth, purity, and divine purpose. When the desires of the flesh fade, something higher awakens, clarity, peace, and divine wisdom. You begin to move with purpose, protect your peace, and choose connections with discernment, not desperation. This is spiritual rebirth, not shaped by the world, but by the divine. Your life starts to mirror heaven, and you no longer chase what fades, you embody what lasts. God is preparing you for divine relationships. The quieting of superficial attraction is sacred preparation. He's cleansing you from what's false so you can receive what's real. A union designed in heaven, rooted in destiny, not desire. Like Ruth and Boaz, it's built through purpose, integrity, and timing. This kind of love comes only after healing, when you no longer seek validation, but give from overflow. A Song of Solomon 3:5 says, "Do not awaken love until it so desires. Wait for the love aligned with heaven's plan." This season of quieting and separation is God's way of protecting your heart, so real love can find you when you're ready, not desperate. As your spirit rises, the noise and distractions fall away, making space for something sacred, heightened spiritual sensitivity, and the awakening of divine gifts. The energy once lost to temptation now fuels your intuition and discernment. You begin to sense truth, hear God's voice clearly, and see purpose where there was pain. This isn't suppression, it's transformation. Now you're entering a season of manifestation, birthing a new reality that reflects who you truly are in Christ, healed, whole, and walking in divine purpose. Your spiritual and creative energies have become one, aligned with heaven's design. They are not separate forces, they are one. It's the divine energy of creation breathed into humanity when God said, "Be fruitful and multiply." Genesis 1:28. Fruitfulness isn't only physical, it's about producing good works and living a life that reflects God's glory. When he redirects your energy from fleeting pleasure, it's not deprivation, it's divine purpose. Your creative and spiritual power, once scattered, is now being gathered and purified. It flows into your gifts, calling, and vision. You begin to create, lead, love, and move with divine clarity and peace. This is the divine exchange. What once drained you now fuels you. You're no longer wasting energy on what's beneath you, but investing it into your destiny. This is your season of manifestation. You're not just dreaming, you're becoming. And as this happens, you're also breaking generational curses. You were chosen to end cycles of sin, addiction, and trauma in your bloodline. The dying of old desires isn't rejection, it's deliverance. God is cutting off the enemy's access and rewriting your family's story through you. This season of purification is not weakness, it is spiritual warfare. You are standing in the gap for your bloodline, breaking chains so your children will inherit freedom. You are being prepared for sacred purpose. Your life is not random, and everything being stripped away is making room for something holy. You are being positioned to lead, heal, and bring light into the world. The old self, ruled by desire and distraction, must fall away so you can become a vessel of honor. 2 Timothy 2:21. Desires may return, but they will be purified and aligned with divine purpose, flowing through covenant and sacred love, not lust. This quiet season is preparation, not emptiness. It is a sacred womb where God is reshaping your identity, refining your spirit, and awakening your divine purpose. Walking in transformation. A life of true fulfillment is spiritually rich, emotionally whole, and aligned with divine truth. But transformation is not passive. It requires participation. So how will you walk this out? Start by guarding your inputs. What you consume daily, what you watch, read, and listen to, either feeds your spirit or fuels your flesh. Be intentional. Cleanse your media diet. Fill your eyes with light, your ears with wisdom, and your space with